Okay, here we are, Super Bowl Sunday. We did a bit of a preview yesterday. We got through the game props and a few other questions or raised topics. Today we can, again, I've got my spank odds up today, finally logged back in after a while. Found some really valuable bets. I posted a couple earlier. I bet a 2 point conversion at plus 330, and I think I've seen minus 230, minus 240 everywhere. So I got as much as I could on that one until they turned it off. Um, Another one I took under 5.5 sacks at minus one, I think minus 119 in the end. And there was plus 130, plus 128, all that kind of stuff on the other side. Plus, there's some 4.5s there if I wanted to play the number or something like that. Go for a middle, but yeah, there was a lot of props missing off spank odds, so I don't know what the goal is, or you put them up as they're requested, or you just find a bunch there. One of the ones I was looking for was, will there be a 2 point attempt, which we spoke about yesterday. I found plus 140, I think, was somewhere, and I saw a few minus 135s, minus 140s, but I was curious to see what the rest of the world had on that. Um, and I need to clean up my SpanCod screen and get the right books there in front of me as well. So, is there any particular premise or way that you bring up which props you're going to have on the screen? Obviously, mapping them is one big pain in the ass. So yeah, how do you look at that when you're doing that, Scott?
Well, I'm just going to pretend like it's you and me talking. I'll just
Of
tell
course.
you what's going on. It's impossible to do props. Here's why. Book number A says successful 2 point conversion. Book B says positive 2 point conversion. Somebody else spells out the word points. Some people, others don't. It's impossible. The programmers work and work and work on that. Why are we missing some props? There's only so many props that we can actually do. Spanky goes through and says, these are the most popular props there are. These are the ones we're going to have up. And you just didn't make Spanky's list with the attempted 2 point conversion. That's all it was.
Yeah, so I mean, I used to take advantage of how difficult it is for a screen to do it, because Don Best would always call up and say, "Hey, we want this," and we're like, "No, you map it to us," and they're like, "No, these are the rotation numbers," and we're like, "Fuck you," it's back and forth and whatnot. Which was kind of the conversation, I guess, of rotation numbers. Is there a future for them? Do we get away from them? Because on our UIs there is no rotation numbers. But the traders obviously like to have it, especially when there's so many. The bet comes in on the bet ticker, and they can sort of quickly get to where that number is rather than searching for the player or the prop type and things like that. So,
well, let me
yes,
jump in on that because Spanky agrees with you. And we have to have BI numbers. So Spank Odds has its own BI numbers on props.
Mhm.
So here's the key. If you look at a prop number, you'll see the first 3 digits of the prop number are the game number. So like in the NBA, when you have a whole bunch of players to score X points, they're all going to be the same first 3 digits. And then after that's where it splits off. I can't tell you the exact code. The programmers have some massive code they use based on the player, based on the prop. But yeah, Spank Odds has a rotation number for them. I don't know why the industry doesn't adopt a rotation number for props. So maybe people will just start using the Spank Odds rotation number. But that's another fun thing when we try to put the props on our screen, because nobody has a rotation number like we do. So we have to take rotation number 28,000 and map them to ours. And there's a lot of books that don't even have rotation numbers. So then we've got to match it another way. It's an amazingly complex situation. I cannot believe the great job that the programmers do on our side. So the number of props we have up are not 100%, because I was looking at Arizona, what I'm calling it, Bet Chris, this morning. I almost called it Prime. And they have 501 props. And I plan to run to the border as soon as we hang up this call. So we can't go clear to the we can't go clear
Okay,
to
so I need to drag this out until the kickoff, so then you can't get us on any of these props.
Well, the problem I had with Arizona Bet Chris this morning is it kept saying, you're not in Arizona. Well, yeah, I know. I'm just looking. I'm making my list. I'm checking it twice. When I get to the hidden exit number 2, I'm going to hit you. And my bank account's all fired up. I've got you all stocked up. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get to the border as soon as we get done with the call.
Well, I'll put this on your timeline then. Whenever you've had enough or whenever you're ready to get in the car, you let me know, and we can take this down and continue on. Looking at the money, it seems like Kansas City money's come in today from everything that we're seeing. So while there was talk about Philly maybe ending up favorite, it looks like Kansas City money's coming in late, and it's as hoped for and as expected. We'll need Philly, so which will make Joe happy that he can put his hat back on and cheer the Eagles. And funny enough, I actually forgot to put my jersey on for this one. I have my Aussie Mailata Philly jersey, so I'll be putting that on for the game, and we'll see if we can get them home.
Well, I saw something very interesting about the line movement in the full game. I saw, and I don't want to advertise for other books, but I guess I will in this case. When Las Vegas a couple of hours ago went to plus 115 on the Eagles side, so they must have been getting buried with Kansas City money. Spank odds I thought was going to catch on fire when I saw that plus 115.
Yeah, I see a 1.5 out there, or maybe 2 of them. We're plus 108 on Philly, and I think you can get some minus 112, 113 yesterday. So just looking at the chart, and it looks like there's been some, sharp money come on it as well. But, I want to be able to cheer the Eagles. I don't like the Chiefs, just like the Patriots from, whatever, 2004 to 14 or whatever it was, before Brady ended up being nice and winning one for Tampa Bay, and we all, the bookies won on that one big. And everything was forgiven for all those previous blemishes that he caused us for heartache and that. But yeah, this one again, I just want to be able to be on the Eagles and see how it goes.
Well, you know where I bet because you saw my bet, but I still think Kansas City can't lose this ball game. All of my tickets, all of my props are painting the script. Kansas City scoring points and not ending in a tie. I bet a lot of money on the no overtime this morning too. There was some really, really good numbers on that at South Point.
Yeah, there was a few good numbers, and I don't know. I mean, I presume the Spank odds is real time. I do have a real time account.
Yes, it is.
But it felt like there was some numbers just hanging there, and I think they even still have it. It was the no successful 2-point conversion, South Point at the minus 230, and I see Fanatics plus 250, MGM New Jersey plus 250. And it just seems to be sitting there. DraftKings plus 250. So yeah, it seems like there's some numbers out there that just don't get taken because whether people can't get on, or I mean, I don't know what else there is.
I can tell you why. Nobody can bet at DraftKings. Nobody can bet at MGM. They could hang a plus 900 and the number ain't going to move. Nobody I know can bet it. And I talk to people all across the country, and the only thing that's ever said to me at Spank Odds support is I used to be able to bet at DraftKings, but now it's $1.08, $1.12, so it's not worth it. And MGM, right. You can't bet props there either because they won't take it. I have an MGM account, and I think they offered me $20-some this morning on a prop. It just isn't worth doing.
I don't want. I mean,
Yeah,
the
I don't want
numbers are
to
there
cut
for a reason. Like,
yeah, I don't I want to cut anybody down, but if you're not going to take a bet, I don't know why you have a book. 98%, and that's a very conservative number, of all bettors lose. I
yeah,
say take all comers. I like the way you do business. I like the way Arizona Prime, you don't care if I win a million or lose a million, you're not throwing me out. I appreciate that. I really do. And I can't believe everybody doesn't do it that way.
well, I mean, that's why you have the house vig. That's why you have a buy sell. Whether whether you're an exchange or whether you're a stock price or whether you're, have a little broader margin because this is a product that people can beat versus those other products. You hang a number, you take a bet, you move it. I mean, this one where you've got minus 230 plus 250, you know, give the people their little bit of money and let them arb and then, find the world where it's minus 260 plus 220 or something like that. And then you know that you can open the limits and just let anybody come in and play it because you know where the number should be. And well, just as we spoke, looks like South Point, uh, someone took the minus 230 or they're listening and they moved it themselves. That's gone to 240. There's still the plus 250s hanging. But again, for South Point, who do take a bet, whether they moved it off money or off air, there's no reason why they still can't lay that minus 240 if other people can get on that plus 250. Because at those numbers, who knows which one's right? Whereas the plus 330, I'm just going to gamble that one
Right.
because the whole market tells me that that's probably the wrong price. So, uh, there's a few of those that just, as you get closer to the game, are just only heading in one direction. And we just sort of see, where it ends up, getting some late bets. Even like FanDuel PA, I presume Pennsylvania,
Pennsylvania, correct.
yeah, has the yes overtime plus 1200
Yep.
and South Point has minus 1100. So there again, it's a dollar arb for anybody that can get on that. Now, obviously, they're complete opposite parts of the country. Um, but people are clever. I'm sure there's a way that two people could put that plus 1200 minus 1100 together.
Well, I don't know how specific I want to be here, but I actually am going to be a little more specific than I should be on this one. You were talking about the minus 230 at South Point. You know why they were at 230? Is because a couple of hours before that they were at minus 220, and I kept hitting it until they moved. Because that minus 220 I liked. I
Well,
think I got it.
maybe me and you should be on the phone, and I'll keep going and hitting that plus 330. You get the minus 220, and that'll pay for dinner next dinner in Vegas.
That sounds good too. But the problem is, I got an appointment at the exit number 2 as soon as I hang up, so there won't be time for that. I'm sorry. Next Super Bowl, we'll do it
For sure. Because then there's no transferring of funds. It's just someone's got to pay the bill. So whoever
That's
collects on
right.
the bill decide to do it. So
That sounds good. You know what I'll do this year is since we didn't do it, I'll just pay the bill. Just let me know when you're in town. I'll buy.
all right, there you go. Is there anything particular you want to look at? I will throw up here Joker saying, Scott, we don't want KC, go Birds. So we don't want you to lose all the props, but as long as you'll win the no overtime because the Birds will win by a couple of touchdowns. I'm not sure what that does to your other bets though.
Well, here's what I'll do. I'll do for the Joker. I'm going to be at exit 2 after this broadcast. Why don't you put up like a plus, I don't know, plus 130 on the Eagles, and then I'll get off my Kansas City bet.
There you
What do
go.
you say?
Just let me know when you hit that exit, and I'll see what I can do.
I should have asked for more. Oh, you're in trouble when they don't push back. You need to ask for more. Uh-oh, the dogs are barking. Must be the Eagles. The Eagles must be good now. Yeah, I gotta say, Kansas City. I'm from the Midwest. I'm a big Husker fan. our closest pro team is Kansas City. It's going to be hard for me to cheer against them.
Okay, that
And
makes
that's
sense.
and that's why I made that the very first bet at Arizona Prime. I thought in honor of Mahomes, I would do that.
Yeah,
The
listen, they've won it 2 in a row. They've walked through raindrops this year. The refs have given them all the help that they need. Jalen Hurts possibly hurting. I'm sure they're going to be stuffing Barkley as much as they can. Uh, it's. I think really it's going to come down to Philly defense, sort of getting on top of the game and maybe taking control and getting those turnovers to sort of help the whole thing. But again, it's why they play the game, even if they know how it's going to end. We still have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. I can't wait to see it. I'm just sad that football's over, but who knows? What we got? Another couple of weeks,
Football's
and
not over. We've got Major League Rugby coming on ESPN starting mid-February. So there's football. Just the American football is done. We've got lots of other football happening still.
we have Australian football on Spank Odds, but I don't think we've got rugby. We might want to
Well,
sit
it's
down and talk to
well,
Spanky about that.
yeah. Major League Rugby is the American Rugby League, so it should be there. It's on ESPN. I actually went to a game. I think the season before last in Loudon, Virginia, I believe that was. And again, it was an interesting game. It was a good afternoon, makeshift stadium. But yeah, with this getting television, and as we're trying to do more and more of this stuff, there might be a few live streams on rugby games, ESPN2, seeing you know finding a bet or not. I mean, this is where bookies are weak. Bookies, I guarantee, odds makers, I guarantee, have no clue how to price up this Major League Rugby coming up. So, and when I went down there some time ago, I looked online. There was over 100 sports books that had lines on this thing, and I guarantee not one of them had any idea that's first one went up, everybody copied. Uh, so there's probably a chance that you can make some scores on that stuff.
Well, if enough books that Spank Odds has rugby up, it's going to be a really easy sell for Spanky. So maybe you and I should get together on Monday and see if we can get Spanky's attention for half an hour and talk to him.
There you go. Let's petition Major League Rugby, just like Major League Baseball, Major League. It's Major League. It's America. It's big time. Get it up there, and we'll start betting it.
Well, let's see if we can talk him into it. That'll be fun. Did we want to talk about any of the specific players today? Because I know we didn't cover players yesterday. And you had that great chart that I saw you presented in the first show this morning.
Increase.
I can't tell you how impressed I was seeing that. I wish I had access to that every day.
So yeah, I had the what was it? I had the bet ticker up. So that's what our traders watch every day, all day. Some of us go to sleep with it on, wake up in the morning, and then scroll through to see what's there. I thought I'd give it a whirl this morning as I was sitting here watching it. I thought, I wonder how interested players are and people are of this thing. So I configured it a little bit just to show the pro plays above $150 and but let all the sports roll live and pre. Yeah, and it's been interesting for the, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes that I put it up there, went through a few things on the feedback of that. So it's something that I've said before, looking to make it available and offer some sort of viewing on it. Not the complete thing, but if I sort of go to it now, I can sort of look. We've had a bet, a limit bet from a pro on Devonta Smith, yes, to score a touchdown. But yeah, as we're talking, this is in the background, flying through. Bets coming in. A few live college basketball, Temple, Memphis, over 156. Betting the game. Oh, significant bet on the under 48.5 in tonight's Super Bowl. limit bet on the Eagles plus 107. So I guess once you go, far enough north, you'll find the Eagles betters. Even a bet Chris horse bet, Aqueduct, race 6, win number 1. So it all comes through. And it just ticks and talks and goes over and over, and you can, you know, go quite nuts trying to follow it. But yeah, it's our pot of gold.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And I would love to have access to it. So if there's a way you're going to present that to people, um, I'm all in. I want to see it.
Yeah, we'll do some, I think, some live stuff maybe just to sort of see what we should, what we shouldn't. Obviously, it does, you know, if we were to share something like this or have it up, then it'd be the perfect place to manipulate lines as well, bet the wrong side with us, and then if there's a DraftKings or FanDuel logging in to watch what's happening, then you know they all move it the wrong way and things like that. So every bit of presentation that you have, every bit of info you have, can be used in all kinds of ways. Just got a limit bet. Pacheco under 22 and a half rushing yards minus 105. Sharp player that we have on a like 60% move, so
Mm.
respects that player heavily. So it's humming. Another plus 107. Eagles significant bet. So it's the bets are flowing.
So you mentioned something about your auto mover there. I want to ask you about the auto mover because I've seen this happen before at a place I used to work, where they had a couple of guys that they had the auto mover turned up really high on, and of course the guys figured it out, and so they made a couple little bets and they brought their buddy with them who wasn't on the auto mover, and they zapped us really good because the guys that were on the over on the move bet the wrong way, and then they let the real guy bet after they
Yep,
did that. Do you ever have any problems with that?
of course. I mean, that's
Okay.
kind of that's the fun and games. And us, again, generally a lot of our traders also have, here you go. Here's a six-figure bet. Eagles plus 1 minus 110. Uh, Not a sharp player, just a good player. Um, yeah, I mean, it happens. I mean, I've kind of worked at places that have had these tools, and then I've left the place, and then I know then I log in, I know how the inner workings of it, and you can quickly learn, what they have your account on and mess around and sort of have some fun with it. But that's just part of the game as well. And it's for our traders to identify, these people moving large and then someone coming in right behind them betting the other side, and then
Mhm.
being able to check whether it's IPs or whether it's, devices or any of those kind of things to understand exactly what's going on. And then you might wheel them back and put the other one on an order move, and yeah, it's just part and parcel of the cat and mouse game that we all play on whichever side of the counter it is.
That's exactly right. Just like nuclear weapons. Every time you build one, I got to build one. And
There you
every
go.
time one of us gets ahead, the other one has to build another one. So it's
Yep.
just the same. It's the same theory. But why don't you talk to us a little bit about the same thing that we've talked about every single week? What are the book's biggest couple of needs? Do you have a player that you really need? Or do you need a side? Do you need you have any prop? I don't want to lead you to an answer. I want to get the right answer. So, is there any particular thing that you really need?
Yeah, what I'm just getting in here. I'm currently logged into all the back ends, New Jersey, Ohio, Arizona, and Latin America. So things are running a little slow because bets are flying in very heavily. Uh, there we go. Let's see what we've got in here. One thing that's got bet big today was will the game ever be tied after 0-0? And the
Hmm.
yes was heavily bet today. Saw those bets coming in earlier.
Okay. What side do you think it is? Forget about the book. What do you think?
Well, it's pretty much take your pick. I mean, I suspect it'll be a back and forth game. But once the Eagles get up by a couple of touchdowns, there'll be no looking back. So
Our game scripts are just almost exactly the opposite on this game. It's going to be a great game.
get into the players rundown, my friend.
Do you have your back-end system? Is it what like a what if system? For example, if this player does this, you're going to win this or lose this. Is that how your back-end system works?
No, we don't really have any what ifs. It's just
You don't. Okay.
no, we've worked on a few things. I know there's a couple of charts and the math guys have built some dashboards potentially of games, the props and things like that. But when it comes to the actual players, nothing of that nature.
Okay.
I think we went over this one yesterday, but players with pass attempts over 2.5 plus 70, a lot of rec money, but the pros are on the minus 190 there, under 2.5. Bit of money coming in today on the over passing yards for Hurts and under passing yards for Mahomes. What's we got in here? Let's see any bets. We got bet coming in. Jesus, this ticker's moving fast. I can't catch it. We got a limit bet, smart player over 1.5 plus 14, DeAndre Hopkins reception. So got a limit bet on the Houston Rockets live just coming in. So they look like
Okay.
Temple plus 13 getting bet pretty heavily right now as well. Anyone that's sidetracked and looking at some basketball.
I was looking at some hockey this morning, but I didn't get too crazy with it.
I did see a big bet come on right after I shut down the ticker. Someone come in big with a multi-limit bet on the Canadians as a decent dog.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that come in. I looked around to see what was around, but it had pretty much gone off everywhere.
Very interesting. This is a great game we're in, you know?
That's exactly what it is. It's a game. It's just a numbers game. All right, my back end's frozen up a little bit. Let me get back in here.
Yeah, I got to say, I really enjoy it, being able to bet a little bit, do a little bit of spank odds work, doing support. Support's been really hectic today. Spank odds. We had lots and lots of questions. I was really surprised. I figured everybody would be all locked in on the game, but there's been an amazing number of questions.
Yeah, that's actually one of our biggest bet props is the total receptions, DeAndre Hopkins. Significant. It's like clearly it's like 10, 20x
Wow.
of like some of these other ones with a number at 1.5. So he's not expected to be too interactive in the game, but the betters on the sharp side balanced 100%. On the square side, it's about 65% of the money's on the over, which is the bet we just saw come in as well.
Interesting. Very interesting.
System's very slow today. It's too many bets coming in.
Yeah.
At least it's slow on the back end. not on the front end. That's the key to this whole thing.
Yes.
Barkley receiving yards, a lot of money on the prop both ways. Juju Schuster's heavy on the over. Rec money, not sharp. Uh, Travis Kelce's numbers dropped a bit today. Money on the under there. Sharp money on the under, but again, the rec players playing both ways, but a bit more on the over. I did see movement on AJ Brown this morning. I saw some 68 and a halves and 73 and a halves. We're currently at 7.5, and I think it's getting good two-way action. I'm trying to see if anything jumps out. Kareem Hunt, significant 90% of the money and decent money on the under 5.5 receiving yards.
Well, let's talk about that Hunt one real quick. Since you've got 90% of the money on one side, why are you not moving the number?
It has moved a little bit, but it's money that doesn't matter.
Okay, so you're saying it's rec money and you don't count that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's there and you have to pay them at the end of the day if they win. But there's just, there's certain spots when you have, and this is where I was saying yesterday, and it's funny enough, I contacted the head trader and whatnot, and we sort of had a few back and forths, and he'd noticed a few of things that because we don't, we're not going into the weeds on these line movements. But yesterday, as we're going through these things, and I'm bringing it up, and we're like, you know, we have a 30-cent line, and we're moving at 50 cents off one bet, kind of thing. Like there was certain aspects that you don't see when you're looking at the top level of the numbers on the game, but once you go into the weeds and you see the line history and the where the bets were placed and the times of bets, um, there's some sort of gaps on what the traders should be doing now. When we look at New Jersey and Ohio for prime, smaller liquidity, so you sort of get a little bit more aggressive and trying not to, uh, get too many hits on one side. But when you have bet in Latin America and you got good liquidity and things like that, then there's less movement required. Also on the profiling side, some of these players, yeah, they're marked rec right now, but maybe there's some bets happening that you're looking at and you're thinking, okay, they'll move to master. Now, if a player that we have was marked as rec and we're looking to move them to pro, that won't show up on the chart when that transition's done. It'll show up in our reporting and our data and stuff like that, but it won't be until he's bet after he's been made that it'll actually reflect differently in the chart and that as well. So unless I go into it, sort of see who the bet was and what they were. But some of this stuff, when you have good money on a certain prop game or anything like that, you just trust it. That's why those players are what they are, and that's why you let them bet for that information.
When you hire new traders, how long of a education do you give them? Is it days? Is it weeks?
Well, a lot of them now we're ideally getting, we have a lot of traders, so any new ones we're bringing in, ideally they know what the hell they're doing already.
Okay.
So they have a pretty good gauge of that. Some of the ones what we've been doing is getting math-based people and then teaching them how to trade or teaching them the sports side of it versus people that know sports and then you've got to teach them the math or the trading and things like that. We found that to be a lot more successful in doing it that way. Um, the great thing about our place is you can make mistakes as long as you learn from them and move forward. Whereas, I've had people as good or as senior as me go to some sports books and they're treated like that's, their first week trading. And based on a player profile, they'll hold a number or want more, volume and they kind of get written up for it, which is kind of, I guess, why I'm still at where I'm at and not chasing, you know, more money or more or bigger prestige or whatever else it is, because ultimately we're just taking bets. Like the goal is just to take bets. This is our profession or our competitions, us versus the betters, individually, collectively, and then then we control the outcome of the games and we decide who wins and who doesn't, and then we take our piece off the top.
Very, very good. I like that. Yeah, but trading is a tough game if you do it right. It really is. If you don't care, any job's easy. But if you do try to do the right thing, it's not an easy job. But if you have a book like you're running where you don't have to worry about throwing people out, moving the numbers, not that hard a deal.
No, because they really tell you where it should be and what needs to
Right.
happen. The hard thing has always been when you're watching a screen, spank odds, Don Best, whatever it is, and then you're guessing, oh, the line moved. Well, was it someone that knew what they were doing? Is it someone just slipped and their fingers typed in a number? Is it, there could be many, many different things.
Well, I can tell you as a bettor, I've made a few mistakes myself and bet the wrong side, which I think is hilarious when you go back and you look at your records and you're ready to mark a winner down and you realize you didn't bet the winner, you bet the other side. It happens to me probably every couple of months where I mess one up.
Yeah, or the script that you got told you what the winner was, and the script didn't come out, and then you're like, whoa,
They,
whoa! I mean, this comes
they
from the
didn't
top.
follow the script.
Yeah, I was very good at self-sabotaging as well in my betting. If I was on a good run, just managing to screw things up as big as possible to just kind of, wake myself up and go, what the hell are you doing?
Got you there. You see
Um,
anything come in there that you want to talk about?
so we got take a look at it. So one I was looking at is Patrick Mahomes rushing attempts. The overs heavily bet there. Sharp money's balanced. I just saw some money come in on something. I'm trying to see what it is here. Uh,
God, I got a neighbor problem. My dog has to keep going out there and checking on him.
Come here, you little.
Probably the best thing about working at home and the worst thing about working at home.
Trying to see what this bet is. Someone's just come into a big bet, minus 274, opening kickoff result. I'm trying to see what the hell this. No. Back is giving me trouble. Causing havoc. We just got a significant bet on last team to score wins. Sort of seen money back and forth on that. They're betting the plus 85. What's we got here? Mahomes longest rush over 13.5. Heavy wreck money. Unders sharp money. The 50.5. Dallas go there. Limit bet minus 14. Barkley under 13.5 plus 04. Guessing that's receiving yards as well. Under 4.5 plus 32. Cooper, DeJean. Yeah. This is one of those days that these tickers move so fast. You need like a 24-inch monitor portrait way so you can sort of catch them and scroll on them. And Eagles first touchdown scorer, Hurts no, minus 65. Chiefs money coming in minus the 1. Eagles money coming in plus the 1.
Oh, that was one of the questions we got asked on Twitter this morning about. I can't remember the player about not scoring a touchdown. Spankots doesn't have any of those odds either, any of those two-way markets. And you said that Arizona has them, so that was really interesting to me.
Yeah, so we've got up about, I think, about 20 players. Yes, no, will they score the first touchdown? And yes, no, will they score any touchdown? And I think maybe even yes, no, will they score the last touchdown? So while a lot of that stuff is usually done in uh, a pick winner kind of structure, I know Circa in recent years, and knowing their software, it's better for them to do that where they do the yes nos in that situation rather than the full list, just with the limitations and things like that.
Gotcha. Well, it definitely looks like the market is settling down. There was a lot of jumpiness a couple of hours ago, but it looks like it's settling down now. I was just looking at the big board and seeing it looks like we're not getting any of that more of that 115 on the Eagles. That's gone. They had that up for just a couple of minutes this morning.
Yeah, we just the 107 one. I saw 107, 105 get taken. Anything else jumping out? Oh, here's one. Most rushing yards. Fuck, screen's gone. Most rushing yards. Mahomes getting bet heavily. Got like 95% of the money there, plus money.
What was that rushing?
Yeah, the whoever has the most rushing yards.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I think that makes sense with my script though, because I think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna have to throw a whole lot after they get the big lead. So, if my script is right, I think he should win the rushing. That makes sense.
Well,
If they lose,
isn't that what the touts do? They give 50% one script, they give 50% the other script, and then next week they just take that 50% that win and just split them up again.
split them again. Yeah.
And then they
I
just
wish
go
I could.
find more fish once the fish are down to a handful. There we go. So there's a field goal in the first quarter. We got Harrison Butker only yes money, not a single penny on the no.
That was a question we got asked yesterday too. Remember about
Yeah,
field goals in the first quarter?
yeah. So it's all yes there. It looks like plus 210's the average price. Got some interesting money here. Here's a prop: most rushing yards, 8 players listed. Obviously, Barkley's like minus 600, but Mahomes at plus 1800, Pacheco at plus 1600, and Hunt at plus 850 all got some sharp money on it. So someone's playing against Hurts and Barkley there, being having the most rushing yards. DeAndre Hopkins over 1.5 receptions plus 107. That money just doesn't stop flowing. Under 1.5 plus 04 Juju. These are all limit bets. These are all limit moves. The ones that I'm listing off. Houston Rockets that we saw live bet before minus 177. Now they're laying 302. So it's obviously gone in the Rockets' direction since we last saw that one.
Oh, what's the rule? What's the rule in Arizona? Are you allowed to post things like the national anthem and that?
I don't believe so.
Don't
And
believe so.
oddly enough, yeah, and oddly enough, I saw the national anthem's just down everywhere. I
Yeah.
don't. It's been since yesterday. No one's put it back up. One of the interesting ones that I did see was, and a lot of places took down the Gatorade. So when I was looking at it early in the week, I bet yellow, green, and I bet purple, and I bet them to slightly odds on, slightly more than 50%. Yellow green went to like minus 180, 200 in the last few days, and the purple I took 4-1 this morning. Now here's a question. The last two Super Bowls, Kansas City has dropped purple Gatorade on the coach at the end of the game. Wouldn't you, if you're Kansas City doing all you can to make sure that there's purple fucking Gatorade in those buckets.
Yep. I wouldn't
So
have anything else.
in theory, if they win, you're getting 4-1 that they win because that's what they pour on the coach at the end of it.
Okay.
So while the yellow green is shortened right up, uh, I've tickled the purple again at some big odds.
This might be the beginning of a Gamblers Anonymous meeting, but it might start something like, who did you bet? What color did you bet on the Gatorade? That might be the way those meetings start. I've never been to one, but I can kind of see that happening. I'm not
Yeah,
accusing you of anything now.
I will tell you though that one, I reckon I've hit it at least 3 times, but there was one about, I'm gonna say maybe like within the last 5 years that got word that it was gonna be blue. Both sides were gonna be blue, and got on the blue big, and blue closed like -500, and it was blue. Those don't come along all that often, but sometimes you just got to trust the word of the gambling god, however it gets to you through whatever method of delivery, and lean into it.
Gotcha. I gotcha. I still think it's
Uh,
going to be probably the first question of Gamblers Anonymous, but okay, I'll give you that.
uh, I will give you. I'll lay it out here. There's one bet. If one bet in particular hits, dinner's definitely on me next time we catch up. So you can
Okay.
cheer for it on the back line.
Okay.
Uh, Zach Bourne MVP, 100-1. I've backed it 5 or 6 times. So, it's a significant opportunity, but that's the one.
Okay.
So if
I,
that one
I,
hits, then the bill's on me.
so why did you have to bet it 5 or 6 times? You couldn't get enough on the first bet, or you bet it
Uh,
5 or 6 places?
so I bet it a couple of times at one place, and then at a few different places. But one generally you could get on for like 250 to win 25, or uh, 200 to win 20, and stuff like that. And every time I just go looking through numbers and I'd see it sitting there again, I'm like, why not? I mean, you know, so I've got way too much on it. But yeah, if that one hits, and I've tipped it to a few other people, so uh, you know,
Uh, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to get closing line value, so at least you can win one way or the other. That's what you're trying to do.
well, me and CLV, I'm definitely on the other side of that argument. Um, the other one
Oh
we've
my!
got Oren Burks, under 9.5 tackles and assists. Rec money's on the under, smart money's on the over. Sharps took plus 140, 148, and the under's now 145. Another one, Reed Blankenship, tackles and assists. Rec money's on the over, smart money's on the under, 6.5. But and then another one is Quinion Mitchell, tackles and assists. Significant money on the under. Let's see what number they bet it at here. Under 3.5, -148. That one's just all one-way action. And that one got moved when they took the 40, 44, 48 and went to 61.
Mm.
Traders did the right thing there. This is a bunch of records of sack. They're all off the board right now. I'm not sure what happened then, or something come in. Significant bet just came in, sack on Barkley on the yes, -195 to score a touchdown, which is the opposite to what the guy asked us this morning about if there was any no markets.
Yeah.
What's we got here? Yeah, we're really getting into the weeds of the props now. Oh, significant bet. Someone bet Kansas City 1 to 6 points. No, for, for 50,000. You see here, and they laid the money. Oh, they actually had three goes at it. Minus 280, minus 300, minus 322. All the same person. So yeah, later, nice six-figure sum to say no to Kansas City 1 to 6.
Wow. And you said that was a sharp player?
That was a sharp player.
Okay, that goes with my script then, because I don't think Kansas City wins by 1 to 6 either. I think they win by at least 14 here. So I'm with him.
So we have the right. We both have the same margin. We just have the different teams.
Different winners. Yep.
Well, at least we'll know if someone goes up by 10 that they're going to score another touchdown. So, someone will win by 2 touchdowns. We just don't know. So we've got penny limit increase, full game, 100,000 to 200,000. My spank odds at work.
Yeah, those limits are valuable stuff to know. When you see somebody moving and they've got those kind of limits, you know something big has happened.
Yep.
I never thought much about movements at all until Spanky explained it to me. And after he explains it, you can't live without that field. I would hate to use an odd screen that doesn't have those limits on it.
So we've just got a heavy charge. Multiple players coming in on will the game ever be tied after 0-0? They lead yes 21, yes 25. 2 different players back to back. So I don't know if they're looking if there's an arb going on or something there, but
yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure now.
A lot of money on Barkley not to score a touchdown. A lot of money on Hurts not to score a touchdown. I mean, all these bets just read to your script, unless there's lots of other people. Hang on a second. This one's a lot of money on these props. So back and forth, two-way. Sharps are on the no on both those.
Well, how about this? And I don't know if you're willing to answer this question either, but I'm willing to ask it. How are you doing on a split about money bet on the game and money bet on props? What kind of percentages in both piles?
This one's always a tricky one because obviously there's so many other markets in that, but the volume on the game's just so solid. I would say, and again, depends what we're looking at on the US side of it. Just primes couple of states, Arizona, which doesn't have players right now. It's probably close to 50-50 or maybe a little bit more on the underling stuff. If I go and look at Chris Latin America, they have significant on the game, so there'd be more on the game than the props and that. But again, as you said, there's 500 props, so you only need 1/500th on each of the props of the game, so it adds up quickly. So when I explain it out that myself, I'm thinking, maybe there is a bit more on props than there is on the game. But there's a good amount of volume on the game, so.
Looks like I'm seeing some movement on spank odds right now. Let's see what it. Oh, it's halftime bet, and it looks like on the total too. The total's moving around a little bit too. Seeing some 49s.
Oh, here we go. We've got one for you.
Uh-oh.
JC.
Give me some insights in the bet. I've only bet one thing at Arizona so far, and that was the very first bet there, the minus 116 money line on Kansas City. I'm going to be going to the border as soon as we break up here to bet some things. I'm pretty price sensitive, so it's just going to be dependent on what the price is when I get there. I can't give you any specifics right now. There's a lot of things though that are on my list to look at. The problem is if I tell you what they are, Adam's listening. And I would not be surprised for him to charge me an extra nickel or so if I wanted them. So I'm sorry, I can't tell you specifically. I've got a list of things I want to bet, though.
Yeah, it's kind of the wrong person on the phone with you here to.
Exactly. If you weren't on the phone, then maybe we could talk a little more specific. But yeah,
but
you've got some really good numbers there, and I really want to hit a couple of them.
All right, let me scroll through and have an idea, see what you've been talking about the last few days. But you do have access to the bat phone as well. So if and this goes to anybody. If you're looking for an extra penny or two on certain things to get what you need to get, then you can always drop a message. We can see what the exposure is and what to do. We're here to take bets. So if it costs us an extra few cents on a few things, nickel, dime here, we'll take it.
I think that's great. That's just really amazing that you're willing to say that. So let me ask you the other hard question. This is the question nobody knows, but maybe you'll tell me. Is this going to be a record-setting Super Bowl as far as volume?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it feels like the volume's good. Um, I usually forget a week later how the previous years were and stuff like that. Obviously, Arizona it'll be a record.
Right.
New Jersey it'll be a record. Their first Super Bowl. Ohio was a bloodbath. With that game fell at the end. But it looks like I think they're writing good numbers there as well. So probably. I mean, I know collectively it's just a great game balance wise. Like as I've said already, and the bets coming in, you're getting -1 bets, +1 bet, just one after the other for good limits and stuff like that. So it's you know, uh, it's just not. It's never ending, and I think by the end of it, and now with live, like go back 10, 15 years when there really wasn't much live. Now with the live, you write, depending how the game swings back and forth, you can write as much live, if not more, than you do pre-game. So it's really become a time when, you just get yourself into a position that you're happy with pre-game. Because even if you try and force a pre-game position, by the time the live starts rolling and they start coming in that, you just get like thrown off your game and suddenly you go in cheering for the Eagles and by the third quarter you need Kansas City for all you got kind of thing. So,
Right.
that's kind of the other fun aspect of it too is, when you're a bettor, you're picking the side you want to be on. When you're a bookmaker, you're being told which side you're going to be on. And sometimes you've just got to trust that people don't know what they're doing and you just get put on the right side by the masses. So, and then that's the other thing with the sharp players and wise guys, whatever you want to call them. It's one game. Like, just let them go nuts. If they beat you, they beat you. If they don't, well, they probably will next time. But that's why you've just got to sort of keep accepting it. We've got Mahomes heavy bet under 29.5 -05 rushing yards, under 7.5. First points for Harrison, the kicker. But yeah, I mean this ticker just Chiefs -13 money line. We just laid a big bet at. So that +15 has now turned into -13. So maybe it does get to pick him by the time this game kicks off.
Yeah, I've
What
been
do we got?
watching the money line, and I'm not seeing it go the way I thought it was going to go. So
What do we got?
this
Is it
is
another 2 hours? Is that about 2 hours till kickoff?
Yeah, we got 2 hours to kickoff. Takes me about 20 some minutes to get to the border. It's going to probably take me about 20 minutes to bet. I don't care if I miss the kickoff. So all I got to do is have it all in before then. But is there any more that you wanted to talk about, or do you want to end it here?
Hang on a second. So the last 3 times you've talked, my fucking screen's going nuts and it's got tied to my volume and I didn't hear the last little bit you said.
Well, I was
Say
just
the last
saying,
bit.
we got a couple hours. It's going to take me about a
Mm.
half an hour to get to the border. And
Okay.
like I said, I don't care if I make it back in time for the kickoff or not. But I didn't know. Is there anything else you wanted to cover before we ended this?
No, we're good. You head to the border. I'll have my ticker up. I'll start watching for what you're coming in for, and then yeah, I'll move those things nice and heavy to make sure we get some action on the other side.
That sounds good. And you still got my email address, so you can send me a link to the bet ticker, right?
There you go.
Th-
It's on its way. I just released the pigeon from Michigan. Let's see if it gets there.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. You want to take us out?
Yeah. I mean, again, everyone, like, good luck this afternoon. I may pop up during the live once the game kicks off and share some of the bet ticker stuff as it's coming through. Depends how the game's going and what the mood's like. But yeah, I mean, again, Scott, great sharing this stuff across to everyone, and all the best to everyone on today's game, last football game of the season, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's going to be a big game. It's going to be really big. So I can't wait to see it.
All right. Well, all the best to everyone. Cheers, and we'll catch you again soon, Scott. I'll see you on the ticker shortly.
Thank you very much.
All right. Later.